Hey everybody, Adrienne here with Sheroes and Shenanigans. Don't you love how I just sing that last word? So, I have a question for you. What do you get when you mix a Shero with a shenanigan? You get a unicorn! All right, there's two purposes to this cone. One is just to throw in some shenanigans during the Shero conversation. And the other is to actually cover up a massive zit I have on my forehead. So then you're not focused on that. You'll be focused on the horn instead. Or possibly my eyes or something else. I don't know. But at least then you're not going, ooh. Okay, I misspoke the other day because I called tip 9 or I said that there were 2 more tips or something like that, but there's actually not. There's only one. This is the last tip, all right? This is the last tip to overcoming toxic talk, okay? Now, that doesn't mean it's the end of our conversations. There's gonna be plenty more conversations, but these are just the tips that when you find yourself going down a rabbit hole, all right, then turn on one of the videos, pick the one you need, and aim. Or if you're, really stuck in one, watch the whole series. But that's just to get you started, get you up out of bed, off of your couch, or just kind of excited about life again. So, okay, the last tip. Big tip here. Gotta breathe. The final step in really healing toxic talk is sharing it, telling your story, telling the story of how you felt going through it, where it came from, if you found it. If you haven't found it, reach out to me. If there's something that's like a repetitive loop for you, feel free to reach out. We can find it together. But if, sharing is the final step in healing, and it is not comfortable at the beginning, which is why hopefully you've been practicing embarrassing yourself on purpose, because that embarrassment is so key to actually being able to share your story, and to practice discomfort, to practice what other people's judgment feels like. When you're being weird and everything, there's going to be people that connect and people who go, what? So, and there's gonna, be people who are like that, no, and judge it. So it's really all about practicing in a way that you want to, and that is fun or silly, and it's not something that you're actually working on healing internally. It's something that you're kind of going, okay, how can I play with the world around me and really embarrass myself today in order to prepare for the final healing move of what I'm working on inside. So embarrassing yourself is definitely key here. And if you've been doing it, then it's time to kind of move into the final step. The final step takes a while, and it takes a lot of people. The final step in sharing is really the ability to be authentic. What do I mean when I say that? It's really being vulnerable. It's speaking about how you feel in the exact moment that you're feeling it, but not being angry, resentful, spiteful, frustrated about it. Just being able to say, man, I feel sad and I feel hurt and this is what's going on. Now, this sharing can happen in a current circumstance that you're going through. And it can also happen with a past circumstance that maybe you've been holding on to for a really long time, and it's kind of had you stopped in life. So the more people that you share with, and this is, where I say that once you actually start sharing, share with, try to find people, and strangers sometimes are the best, by the way, but try to find people who, number one, you don't already have a pre-relationship of harsh judgment with them. Try to find people who aren't going to buy into how terrible your story is and then, be like, oh my God, that sucks, and remind you of how bad it sucks. Try to find people who maybe you don't have history where they're totally picking on you or have picked on you, because that can be scary too at the beginning. Or try to find people who aren't apt to fix it. They're just willing to listen and kind of just be there for you. So that's really what you're looking for. But that is the final step in sharing, and or the final step in healing. And the more people that you share with, the more you heal. The faster you share, the faster you heal. So it really is kind of finding out what you're going through and sharing it. A lot of people, I do think that on some level that is why people go to counselors, because they know that that person is going to listen from an open perspective, and that person is possibly going to, ask them questions to kind of get it out of them a little bit better. And they're a stranger most times. So sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is more difficult. So, really search out those people in your life, because they are there. If not, heck, tell a person at the grocery store, and the embarrassment that you've been practicing will actually help find humor in that, find humor in the satire of humanity, and how we're all kind of we're all connected in that. And it's funny. There's funny parts to it. And once you start sharing, you might find yourself actually kind of laughing or giggling, but above all, you'll find relief. So share your story, share it often, get it out of your system. And once you've practiced sharing with multiple people that maybe have nothing to do with that circumstance, now you've practiced being vulnerable, seeing how people kind of react to it, and hopefully it's not actually having too much of an effect on you because you've exercised that valuable muscle, or that vulnerable muscle. But the final step in that is making sure that you come back around to sharing with the person that you had the circumstance or the situation with. Now, that doesn't mean you always have to. You can just let it go, and when you do share with people, you find that you are letting go. But if it is still something where, I've shared with dozens and dozens of people, and it's still kind of tweaking in there, right? Then that would be where I would say maybe approach the person whom it was circumstantial with. And you can do this by even writing them letters. It doesn't have to be that you speak face to face. You can do this with writing them letters. If it's somebody that's passed, you can write them a letter. You can speak it to the air, but really engage and try to actually be present almost telepathically with their soul, if it's not somebody that you can see or even want to see face to face. But do make sure that you share with them and just send it out, send it out to the universe. It will get there. So, but that's the final step. And the more that you tell it, the easier it becomes, and the more it releases, and the more connection you find. You end up finding people who are going, man, I've been there. I know what that feels like. And then it's kind of like, yeah. And then you get to, what? At the end of that, when that's really finally shared and you've really told your story, and again, it's life event story. Something happened and you made a decision about it. And that decision played out like this in your life. So once you kind of really share that whole sequence with people, you'll find that you're more apt to play. You're more apt to take, bigger uncomfortable, or what used to be uncomfortable, risks, and kind of get out there in the world and participate more. And it'll attract joy. It'll start attracting joy to know that, hey, I've let that go. I'm at peace with that. And on top of it, I have found so many new people to be part of my life. So it really brings people together. That's my final tip. So, all right. in regard to all of these videos, you should all be getting a private message in your Messenger app sometime this week. It is me describing the importance of why I'm really doing this and where I'm hoping and how I'm hoping it takes life. So I'm going to also post it on the page, but on the off chance that the algorithm doesn't let you see it, then I'm going to make sure that I send it to you as well. Unfortunately, it's a general statement that has to do with me and where I'm coming from with it. I don't know any kind of trick to kind of put a name in to personalize it a little, and I will try, but I'm not sure. There are some people I know and don't know, and I will try to actually add some personal stuff to it. But after this gets out, I'm down for conversations that you guys want to have. I always have been, but if this is something that you are going through, or somebody else that's going through it, then don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to share. You have no idea how many people are kind of in the middle of their own mess, and it happens at all levels of culture and class and age. There's no gap to it. It's just part of who we are. So anyway, I will see you guys later this week with some more talks, but at least these 10 tips, if you didn't do them yet, go back through and look at them, because they work. And when life works, it's more fun. And when it's more fun, it becomes really enjoyable. So I hope you check back through, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a really great day. Bye.